Georgian President Salome Zourabichvili believes the Georgian people have been robbed of their elections and their European future. She has declared that she will not step down from her position until new parliamentary elections are held in the country. Speaking before the European Parliament, Zourabichvili called on the West to demonstrate greater determination and initiative.
The stakes are very high. That concerns Black Sea security, that concerns everything linked to connectivity to Central and Southeastern Asia. It concerns Armenia's European future. So it's much more than just Georgia and just Georgia's democracy or just Georgia's political choices. Georgians are still waiting for biting measures to come from Brussels and Washington, and I hope we won't have to wait for a deeper crisis to occur for Europe to act. Salome Zourabichvili, President of Georgia.
EU leaders, meanwhile, have reiterated their willingness to support the European aspiration of the Georgian people, on the condition that the Georgian authorities change their current course. Protests erupted in Georgia in late October 2024 as citizens accused the ruling party, Georgian Dream, of falsifying parliamentary elections. The ruling party is perceived as pro-Russian, which has fueled public outrage. The protests gained significant momentum on November 28, when Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze announced that Georgia has suspended its plans for European integration until 2028.
This decision is absolutely unacceptable to our citizens, not only to the four main political parties that won these elections that were stolen from us, but also to the people of Georgia who will continue their fight. The EU and the US will continue to help us protect democracy. Our ultimate goal is to rid Georgia of this pro-Russian criminal regime and hold new elections.
Law enforcement has responded harshly to protesters. Human rights organizations report that since the protests began, around 500 people have been detained, with nearly 400 of them subjected to torture. The United States has reacted strongly to the political course and the reported brutality of Georgian authorities. The US has suspended its strategic partnership with Georgia, imposing sanctions as early as the summer against over 100 members of the ruling Georgian Dream Party. In December, additional measures targeted 20 individuals deemed responsible for undermining democracy in the country. Among those blacklisted were Georgia's Minister of Internal Affairs, Vakhtang Gomelauri, and Mirza Kezevadze, Deputy Director of the Special Tasks Department. Furthermore, Washington plans to introduce more sanctions against the Georgian government before the end of President Joe Biden's term.
We have already imposed sanctions on Georgian Dream officials for their involvement in serious human rights abuses during their violent response to peaceful protests. We have imposed visa restrictions on more than 100 individuals that were either responsible for or complicit in undermining Georgian democracy, and we have suspended the US-Georgia Strategic Partnership Mechanism. We made clear we didn't move kind of from 0 to 100 on day one, because we've always made clear with the government of Georgia that there was an alternative path available to them, the path that we believe their people are calling for, that their people suffered. Matthew Miller, spokesperson for the United States Department of State, quotes the Voice of America publication.
Ukraine has also imposed sanctions against the pro-Russian Georgian government, targeting 19 individuals. The UK has implemented measures against 5 high-ranking Georgian officials. Additionally, 30 OSCE member states issued a joint statement urging Georgian authorities to release detained protesters and hold accountable those responsible for excessive force. Reported by Katerina Bastun, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.